Hello and welcome to Close Beta 2 for Maplestory 2. I recently reached level 50. It took me, I would say, yeah, it took me about 24 hours, literally one day, to get to 50 by rushing it, doing a lot of epic story quests, or follow the main story and then do a few side quests or life skill and grinding to get to 50. I figured I might as well share some builds that I did. So there's the endgame build, and then there's obviously the leveling build. And I'm gonna be talking about the leveling build for Berserker right now. The first thing that you wanted to max out was Death Spin, because that's your bread and butter skill up until you get your Groundbreaker, which is being unlocked at level 19. So you keep spinning and spinning and spinning, and you deal damage over time. Blood loss is going to be available later on, which will save you from having potions issues if you're taking a lot of damage. I felt like the blood loss was really good, considering that it gives you 43% health back, which is almost like a power elixir, which gives you 50% health. So the build went off with a few points in Raging Slash, max out the spin or put as much points as you can while you're leveling on Death Spin, and then prioritize on Groundbreaker and Bloodlust. So for me, leveling up to 25-ish, I start to spam more on Groundbreaker and Death Spin. I want to cap these two skills as soon as possible. Once you have these two maxed out, you kind of want to ignore the Great Sword Mastery, go for the Bloodlust, because Bloodlust will help you to survive longer. Fighting bosses and such will deal a lot of damage, because you're a little bit ungeared. They changed a bit with the bosses in dungeons, so it will hurt, and I've died a couple of times, I have to admit that, but Bloodlust has been there for me. Once it was a reasonable level to give me decent amount of health back, it saved me a lot of times. But yeah, once that was maxed out, or I think I had it on level 7 or something, but once it was maxed out, or you didn't have any points to spend on Bloodlust, like you weren't able to spend it on Bloodlust, I started to spam it on Great Sword Mastery. So just having a passive ability, gaining that extra damage boost, you started to deal a lot of damage. Your Groundbreaker started to deal 10k plus per hit at 10 stacks. And then your spin kept doing like 2k or ish per spin. And then afterwards I tried out Blood Price. I was like, it's okay, but I started to lose a lot more health, and it was more tight when you try to solo dungeons. So I decided to just go more passive by myself, and I went for the path on the far right with Deep Wounds, having a chance of dealing 60% damage per every second, so that's 160% damage if you crit on the enemy. So they start to glow red and they take damage. It's not really that important, but I mean, if you're fighting a boss, for example, then it will help out a bit while you're spinning around the boss, or like groundbreaking the boss to death. But yeah, try to use your cross slash or X slash as much as possible. Like my tip for fighting a boss is usually spin around it for a bit and then manipulate so that he's facing towards you. Well, he's obviously gonna face towards you if you're playing solo, but when he starts to use his animation to attack, you use a cross slash. For me, it's the shift. So I'll just dash through him. So he attacks to the left, I'll dash through him, and then I'll start to ground smash behind the boss, or spin around the boss, and that will help you a lot. Yeah, I mean, there aren't really that much of advanced or in-depth things that you should think about if you're going with this build. I skipped Void Slash, for example, because I wanted to save my spirit for something for more ground breakers. So I didn't feel like I needed any Void Slash or Dark Break or any of these other skills because they consume, or at least these other skills like Dark Breaker and Dark Might is consuming your 10 stacks, which is annoying. And Earthquake, I just didn't bother with it. It's for 5 seconds only, and it's like you have to make all the enemies stay on the cross pattern, so it's So I'd rather just, you know, go up close with my Berserker and then just smack the enemies. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else. I guess I can mention that I went with Strength path. Sorry for the minor lag. But I went with the Strength path, and I felt like it really didn't. I mean, going critical at this point wasn't, or at the early game didn't really give me much. But I might check it out now, like 1420 with crit only, and let's see how much we get from this. Okay, 1414 with pure strength. For me, I felt like strength was much better in general at leveling, but I might change to critical again, depending on the gear. As you can see, my gear score ended up at 1440, which is enough to do all the level 50 dungeons as well. It really doesn't matter because you probably want to farm the ice one because it has more pieces of armor, so you can gear up your character with the gear score, and then you can farm Pyros to get your weapons, and then Balrog, and then afterwards Devorak. But two things that I got from crafting or life skill. If you haven't done any life skill, you can get free items. I got 2 level 50 items already from the life skill, and then you get 1 level 50 item from completing the main story quest. And the rest of these are literally from gearing up or doing the main story quest. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to talk about. I'll probably make another video regarding my house and such. Another tip. If you are leveling your character, make sure to utilize with the portals. Open up your house, put portals in, and portals are quite fast. Because if you don't have any taxi around, and you don't want to spend any mesos or anything, or if you're a premium member, you can just use the walkie-talkie or to call the air taxi. But if you're a free-to-play player, use the portals during Close Beta 2. You probably can use it in release as well, because I saw that it's let's see, I think it costs mesos to place these portals. And once again, I apologize if it's laggy at the moment. I haven't restarted the game yet, so I think it has memory leak. But we go to the furnishing, type in portal, and you can see there's a mesos icon for the portal. So what you want to do is you want to place portals, and once you place the portal, you press C on them, and then name the portal, just so you know, in case you're gonna mess around with the portals. But over here, destination, you click on map, and then you choose your map that you visited. So the more maps you visit, the more maps you can unlock to set the destination for your portals. And once you've done that, you don't have to do the flag thing, but that is through Maple Workshop. But other than that, you can see the name for the dungeon if you visit the if you enter the portals, and it will tell you that it's going to trio, etc. But yeah, I guess I have my level 50 friend here joining. I'm probably gonna do some level 50 dungeon. Yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope this sort of helped a little bit doing the leveling your level 50 character. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.